The Lover's Pentacle, Chapter 18, King of Wands. The couple left Malik's home and Oberon drove around Miami with the intention of romancing his boyfriend to make him more complacent in the bedchambers. He wanted to take Kain to the first restaurant they had ever visited. Alas, the place could only be visited via reservation. Oberon chose the second best option, the Cheesecake Factory. Kain had a lot of happy memories associated with the place, though when they drove past the restaurant, Kain didn't seem happy. How about if we try the nice Italian place we always drive past, said Oberon, pointing to North Italia. I could go for some pasta, said Kain, smiling thinly. Oberon parked and then he opened the door for Kain, and based on his glassy eyes, Oberon guessed that his boyfriend's mind was elsewhere. He needed to bring him back to the present somehow. He attempted to have a conversation while the two were walking towards the restaurant. So, that pamphlet I saw in your pocket, you were planning a little vacation, were you? A vacation just for the two of us, asked Oberon. I was. I don't know why I ever bothered to plan anything. Nothing ever works out the way I want, said Kain, sighing sadly. You didn't cancel the reservation, did you? 'Cause you won't see your deposit money back, warned Oberon. I didn't cancel anything because I didn't do anything. It didn't seem wise to plan a vacation without your input. And I saw what happened with Jeremy, and I didn't want to force you to visit a place that you didn't want to just because I already paid for everything, mused Kain. That is a very considerate of you, but truth be told, I don't care where we go as long as we're together, said Oberon, placing his arm around Kain's waist. Get a room, you said a stranger before saying something offensive. Hey, fuck you, asshole, responded Oberon, raising his middle finger. This is a free country. Just ignore him, Oberon, said Kain, walking ahead. That's easy for you to say, said Oberon, catching up with Kain. You don't have to put up with just like that every other day. I went to public school, Oberon. I am used to being teased, and while I was in middle school, I became a target of similar insults, all because I gave a Valentine's Day letter to Malik, said Kain. So you and Malik, asked Oberon, shocked and delighted. Why am I just hearing about this? Because it isn't a happy memory, and the stupid letter caused a family crisis, and it almost ruined my friendship with Malik, said Kain. The string of the conversation was interrupted when they arrived at the restaurant, and Oberon said, We don't have reservations, but we're starving. Since most of the tables were empty, they were allowed within. Oberon ordered spaghetti and meatballs, while Kain had a bolognese, and for dessert they shared Italian donuts. Oberon attempted to return to the topic, but Kain kept dodging their questions. I am sorry, said Oberon during dessert. I know it isn't easy to talk about being rejected by your family members for liking men. I wasn't physically attracted to Malik. I was a jealous brat who was angry that Malik was spending more time with his girlfriend than with me. And at the time, Malik was the only friend I had in the entire world. And we spent a lot of time together, and then one day he has no time for me because he's smooching with this Karina I never heard of, said Kain before munching on the donut, a cup's only witness. So tell me, Oberon, have you ever been in love? Just once. I wouldn't repeat the experience, said Oberon, being a little too honest, and he added, laughing nervously. I kid. I wouldn't mind falling in love with you, baby. Kain smiled sadly before taking Oberon's hand into his own, and he squeezed it a little before kissing it with reverence. And an nearby jerk said a real comment, but neither heard it, and they were at peace in their own little world. They paid the bill before returning to their car, and on the way there, Kain noticed that he was being followed, and he stopped a moment to bring out his revolver, and he checked to make certain that it had bullets, and he then returned it to his original hiding spot, and he laughed gleefully when he noticed that his stalkers were gone. Bunch of cowards, said Kain, turning his head. Let's just go home, said Oberon, unlocking the car. Your home or mine, asked Kain. I prefer the privacy of my home, said Oberon. But my bed is more comfortable, said Kain, and what he wanted to say was that my bed is cleaner. I will change the bed sheets, said Oberon. You only have one pair of bed sheets, protested Kain, getting inside the car. We will take them to the laundry, we will clean them, and then we will soil them again, said Oberon, turning on the ignition key and driving away. The drive to Oberon's apartment was slow, and since it was Sunday, they had a limited time to fool about, and the first thing Oberon did was pick up all of the dirty sheets and the pillow coverings, and he left Kain at home getting toasty while he went to the laundry. And during that activity, Oberon kept thinking about the things he wanted to do to Kain, and in the end he felt that he needed to treat his partner like a virgin. If he rushed through things again, there was a chance that he might spook his prey. And as for Kain, he spent his time cleaning Oberon's apartment. Try as he might, he saw filth in every corner, and he panicked when he saw a female undergarment underneath Oberon's bed. And here was the proof that Oberon had cheated on him the day before. Et tu, Oberon, sighed Kain before crying most bitterly. He threw the evidence into the garbage can, and his only consolation was the fact that he had not left Oberon much of a choice. Oberon had need. Maybe that has been there for a while, said Kain, lying to himself. It is not as if Oberon never cleans beside the bed. He convinced himself of that lie, and he was able to greet Oberon with a smile. Oberon pouted when he saw Kain's puffy eyes. It was obvious that he had been recently crying. "Do you miss me that much?" asked Oberon, smiling warmly. He caressed Kain's cheek. Kain kissed the hand before saying, "Yes." "It wasn't my intention to take so long, but look, the bed sheets and the pillow coverings are pure silver, and once I set them up, we can taint them red and blood with our love juices," giggled Oberon, showing the pillow covering. "Ew," said Kain, narrowing his eyes. "Sorry," said Oberon, sticking his tongue out, "and that sounded a lot more romantic in my head." Kain did the bed while Oberon showered, and he heard Kain say, "And wash your hair too." "Yes, honey," said Oberon, getting out the shampoo. And he giggled with delight when he felt two masculine hands in his head. And Kain said warmly, "You're not doing it right. Let me show you the proper way to scrub that head of yours." And Kain's dexterous fingers cleaned Oberon's head, and Oberon trembled with delight when he realized that Kain had entered the shower, and he took a step back to confirm what he already suspected. The following morning, Oberon awoke sore from head to toe, and he giggled with delight when he saw the ring, the wedding ring. Yes, he wanted to think it was a wedding ring. And last night he had consummated his union with Kain, and in the shower no less. Well, this wasn't exactly true. They started in the shower before moving to the couch, and Kain just had to keep those nice bedsheets clean. It had been a delightful turn of events that Kain had acted dominant, and when he set up, his nether regions began to hurt, and he had allowed Kain to split him in half, even though he didn't like to take it with a lightning shine. Oberon got dressed for work, and on the way he began to meditate on the night before. After all the build-up, the experience had been more painful than pleasurable. While waiting at a red light, Oberon said, "I really should have told him that I didn't like to take it with a lightning shine, but he looked so enthusiastic." Oberon arrived 2 hours late for work, and like every morning he went to report to Eugenia, and he was surprised not to see her by the pool area, and instead he was greeted by a note. "I went to the doctor to try to get a look at the gender of the baby," wrote Eugenia, "and Mom needs to know what color to paint the nursery, and here's your assignment." Oberon watched the family pets, and once they were exercised and they had done their business, he took the dogs to be fitted in their new dresses. Jeremy's cat Tibor had started a fashion in the rich neighborhood, and his cat was always dressed in a different outfit, and when he couldn't make something new for the cat, he added a little tie or a silly hat. When asked why he was tormenting his cat, Jeremy would say Tibor likes wearing dresses, and he doesn't have fur, or the sun wounds his sensitive skin. He acquired the dresses before driving to Michael's office, and he shrunk into his friend when he walked into the meeting room filled with serious men in tuxedos. "I can come back later with the dog," said Oberon. "We're on break," said Michael. He needed a diversion to keep himself from strangling his accountant. A familiar cat jumped on top of the table, and Tibor meowed and the dogs barked, happily recognizing their friend. "Did you get your own cat?" asked Oberon, amused, and he picked up the cat before adding, "He looks just like Tibor. Wow, they don't like when they see that with money you can get everything. Oh wait, this is Tibor. And did you buy Jeremy's cat? I am surprised he sold it." "Has anyone ever told you that you talk too much when you're nervous?" commented Male. "I'm not nervous. What reason do I have to be nervous?" laughed Oberon nervously. "We have some vocational schools and some colleges who wanted you to look at," said Michael. "Hey, wasn't Tibor the name of your boyfriend's cat?" asked a soon-to-be-fired executive. "For the last time, I don't have a boyfriend," barked Michael, punching the table. "I only cheated my wife with women, and with Cuban women to be more precisely. In my private life, it's none of your business." Michael was technically speaking the truth. Jeremy was his former lover, not boyfriend, and he smiled sadly while staring at Tibor. the meowing witness to other affairs. The cat certainly liked to watch, thought Michael, and the moment he got busy, Thibault just had to jump to a good vantage point. But your daughter Dorothy recently said another soon-to-be-fired gossiping janitor. Who gave you permission to listen to my daughter's conversation? His Michael pointing. And listen, both of you are walking on thin ice, and I will not hear another word of it. But we should still do a press release explaining your non-existent relationship and your bizarre way of communicating via cat pictures, said Malik. Thibault taught me to like cats, and I had always seen them at a distance, but I grew to admire and respect felines after getting to know this little rascal, said Michael, extending his hand. And Thibault jumped into his leg to make himself comfortable, and now Michael resembled a James Bond villain. Malik left the table, Malik, not Michael, to busy himself with Oberon, and the others were going to draft the official lie to explain why Michael tested so often with his dog walker. And someone had leaked their text messages to the press, and the gossip magazines claimed that he fired Jeremy when O'Neill had discovered their affair, and the public had to know the truth. Is Michael a liaison gay? Oberon followed Malik to his office with the dog tagging along, and Oberon felt both stupid and useless, and he missed his job as a bouncer, and due to his height it was difficult for a club owners to believe that he knew how to fight. And Malik sat beside his desk with Oberon facing him. Why didn't you finish school? Asked Malik. I was thrown out of the house, said Oberon. Were you homeless? Asked Malik. No, I went to live with Natasha, but it became difficult to finish high school with all the teasing, and my grades during my senior year was subpar, said Oberon, sighing wearily. Obviously, and with your father putting your sporting careers above your grades the moment that you stopped being useful to him, he casted you aside like a broken toy, said Malik, huffing. Have you been drinking again? Asked Oberon, trying to change the subject. Not recently, no. I am merely, what is the word, projecting. I know what it is like to have a father that doesn't love me. And one day, for no reason, my dad stopped loving me, and at least you have an answer, a stupid answer. Well, till this day, I don't know why my dad hates me, barked Malik. And he added while tapping the table nervously, and he only pretends to get along with me for my sister's sake. I am sorry that your father doesn't love you, said Oberon wearily. Though he was happy to know that he was speaking to someone that knew what it was like to be rejected by his father. It was like a switch had gone off, and how could Oberon's father have grown to hate him in less than 5 minutes? You know what, Oberon? Fuck my dad, and fuck your dad as well. And if they don't want us, they can go to hell, said Malik, cheerfully sitting up. The two men ranted about their terrible fathers, and it would have been easier for them had their fathers been truly awful, and the sad fact is that they had been great up until one point, and this made the loss of affection all the more scarring. The conversation eventually shifted back to the matter of the education, and Oberon couldn't spend his entire life as a PTM bouncer and clown. He needed to find a stable employment, and it didn't have to be something he liked, but at least something he could do for 8 hours without falling into desperation. That's chapter. Bye-bye.